The alien girl stood at the edge of the busy market, holding a small broken toy in her tiny hands. Her clothes were old, her feet were bare, and her face looked tired, as if she had not slept or eaten properly for many days. She was very young, maybe 6 or 7 years old, but her eyes carried the weight of someone far older. She kept the toy close to her chest as if it was the only thing she had left in the world. She whispered the same words again and again. Toy for sale. Good toy. Very cheap. But her voice was so soft and weak that most people did not even hear her. Those who heard her simply glanced at the toy, noticed it was broken, and walked away without stopping. Some laughed, some ignored her, and some even frowned at her for standing in their way. She kept trying, but no one cared. The human man named Aaron walked through the market looking for spare machine parts. He was a traveler, visiting different alien planets for work. He was used to seeing strange things, but today he saw something that made him stop completely. He saw the little girl standing in the corner, clutching her toy like her life depended on it. Her skin was pale blue, and she trembled slightly as cold wind passed through the open market. Aaron watched her for a moment before walking closer. He noticed how her eyes followed every food stall around her. Not with desire for money, but with pure hunger. It was the kind of hunger that came from days of starving. When he came close, the girl quickly lifted the toy with shaky hands, trying her best to smile. Toy. Please buy. Good price, she said. He gently took the toy from her, turning it in his hands. It was a small mechanical bird, but its wings were cracked, one side was missing screws, and the gears inside were jammed. It could not fly anymore. Aaron understood the toy had no value, but he also understood something else. The girl was shaking, not just from cold, but from fear. She kept looking behind her, checking if someone was watching her. Why are you selling this? Aaron asked softly. The girl lowered her head and said, Need money, but her voice broke. Aaron looked at her stomach, which was so empty he could see the outline of her ribs. She was not selling this toy for money. She was selling it because her life depended on it. Before Aaron could say anything else, 2 alien guards in dark armor passed by. The girl instantly stiffened, her breathing changed, and she gripped the toy tighter. The guards did not stop, but they glanced at her with cold eyes as if she was an object, not a child. Aaron watched closely. Something about those guards made him uneasy. He crouched down and gave the girl a gentle smile. I'll buy it, he said. She blinked with surprise. She looked at the toy, then at him, as if she could not believe he wanted something so broken. Aaron handed her the credits without asking for a lower price. The girl took the money like a frightened animal, looking left and right as if someone might punish her for receiving it. Then Aaron did something unexpected. Instead of putting the toy in his bag and leaving, he walked to the nearest food stall and bought a small warm meal. He returned and placed it in front of her. The girl froze, her eyes widened in fear, and she stepped back as if the food was dangerous. Aaron patiently pushed it toward her again. It's for you, he said softly. She hesitated for a long time, then slowly reached for the food. Her fingers shook as she touched it, like she expected someone to slap her hand away. When she finally took a bite, her eyes filled with tears. She ate carefully, almost silently, as if every bite was something she had to steal. Aaron felt something heavy in his chest as he watched her. No child should eat like that. No child should be that afraid. When she finished, she whispered, Thank you, in a voice so small it was almost invisible. Aaron smiled, but his smile faded when he noticed the 2 alien guards watching from a distance. Their eyes locked on the girl first, then on him. Something was very wrong here. He could feel it. The girl saw them too, and fear returned to her face. She clutched the broken toy tightly and whispered, Please go. They will be angry. But Aaron didn't move. He knew now that her life was not just sad, it was dangerous. And whatever he had stepped into, he was not going to walk away. The alien girl sat very still on the low stone step. Her small hands wrapped tightly around the warm food container Aaron had given her. She didn't open it right away. She kept looking from side to side, checking the movement of every person in the market, as if she expected someone to shout at her. When she finally lifted the lid, her breath shook. Warm steam rose into the cold air, and for a moment she looked like she might cry again. Aaron sat a few feet away, giving her space but staying close enough so she wouldn't feel abandoned. He didn't talk. He didn't push her. He simply waited, letting her decide if she felt safe enough to eat. The girl slowly took a small bite, and then another, faster this time. Soon she was eating with both hands. But she was still careful, still quiet, still ready to run. Aaron noticed how she chewed slow, scared, like she had been punished before for eating food that wasn't meant for her. He didn't understand everything yet, but he understood one thing clearly. This child had lived a life of fear. "You can eat," he said gently. "No one will stop you. I'm here." She paused mid-bite, her large bright eyes rising to meet his. "They don't let us eat," she whispered. Her voice shook like someone who had learned to talk only when necessary. Only when they say. Only when the work is done. "Who?" Aaron asked, but before she could answer, her eyes widened in panic. She dropped the food container and pulled the broken toy close to her chest. Her small body shrank in fear as the two alien guards returned. Walking with slow, heavy steps, Aaron stood up, placing himself slightly in front of her. The guards stopped a few feet away, their expressions cold and hard. One of them spoke in a deep voice. "Human, this child belongs to the market work unit. Step away." "Belongs." The word hit Aaron hard. "She's a child," he replied. "Let her eat." The guard smirked. "She eats after work, not before. And you have interfered." The girl trembled so hard she almost dropped her toy. She tried to stand, but Aaron gently put a hand out, not touching her, but stopping her. "You're scaring her," he said. The guards looked at each other and then at him, surprised that a human would speak this way. "She owes us," the guard said firmly. "Now move." Aaron's jaw tightened. "Owes you for what?" The second guard stepped forward. "For the shelter we provide. For the tools she uses. For the food we allow." His tone dropped lower. "These children must pay their debt." Aaron felt anger rise in his chest. He looked down at the girl, so small, so thin, so scared, and knew this wasn't about debt. This was control. This was ownership. He knelt beside the girl and spoke quietly. "Do you trust me?" Her voice was barely a whisper. "Yes." Aaron stood again and faced the guards. "You won't take her." Both guards froze for a moment, shocked. No one had ever said that before. No one stood between them and the children. But Aaron wasn't thinking about rules or alien politics. He was thinking about the empty look in the girl's eyes, the scars on her arms, the fear in her breath. The guard reached for the girl's arm. Aaron reacted instantly. He stepped forward, grabbed the guard's wrist, and pushed it away. The guard stumbled back in surprise. The market grew quiet. People watched. The second guard growled, "You dare interfere?" Aaron didn't back down. "If you touch her again, I will stop you." The girl stared at him with wide eyes. No one had ever defended her before. No one had ever spoken against the guards. She felt something she had almost forgotten. Hope. The guards exchanged a silent look. They didn't want a public scene. Not when many people were watching. Not when a human was involved. Slowly, they stepped back. "This is not finished," one guard warned. They turned and walked away, disappearing into the crowd. The girl let out a shaky breath and sat back down. She picked up the food again, but this time when she ate, she wasn't shaking. She wasn't afraid. Aaron sat beside her. "You're safe now," he said softly. She looked at him for a long time, her eyes shining with warmth and confusion. "Why did you help me?" she asked. Aaron smiled gently. "Because you're a child. And children should never be hungry or scared." She didn't smile back, but her shoulders relaxed. For the first time in her short life, she ate a meal not because someone allowed it, but because someone cared. And that small moment changed everything. The market grew quieter as the sun started to fall behind the metal roofs. Lights flickered on, one by one, and long shadows stretched across the ground. The alien girl sat close to Aaron now, holding her fixed meal container in one hand and her broken toy in the other. She seemed calmer, but her eyes still carried fear that never really left. Aaron waited patiently until she finished eating. When she did, she looked up at him with a strange mixture of trust and confusion. "They will come again," she whispered. "They always come," Aaron nodded. "I know. And that's why I need to understand what is happening. Will you show me?" The girl hesitated, her small fingers gripping the toy so hard it looked like it might break in half. For a moment, she seemed like she would refuse. But then something changed in her eyes. She had seen the guards step back because of Aaron. She had seen that someone finally did not fear them. She stood slowly and nodded. "Come, but be quiet." Aaron followed her through narrow pathways behind the market stalls. They passed a wall of broken crates, old machines, and discarded metal parts. The air grew colder, and the sounds of the market faded behind them. The girl moved with surprising speed, as if she had walked this hidden path many times before. After several minutes, they reached a rusted door behind a warehouse. The girl glanced around, checking if anyone was watching, then pushed the door open just enough for them to slip inside. The smell hit Aaron first. Old oil, burned wires, dust, and something else, something sad. The room was large and dimly lit by weak lamps hanging from the ceiling. Broken machines and tools were scattered everywhere. And in the middle of the room were alien children, at least 20 of them, all small. All hungry. All silent. Some were fixing broken devices. Some were scrubbing metal. Some were sorting parts. And some were sleeping on the cold floor with nothing but thin cloth under their heads. The girl walked toward them quietly, and the children turned to look. Their eyes held the same fear she had, the same softness that came from being used, and ignored. Aaron felt his chest tighten. One child with green skin approached them. He looked about 8 years old, but his shoulders were tense like he carried years of worry. "You brought a human here?" he whispered, more curious than angry. The girl nodded. "He helped me. He bought food. He stopped them." The children looked at Aaron again, this time with hope flickering behind their eyes. It was small, but it was there. Aaron knelt down beside them. "Is this where you live?" A few nodded. Double quotes, "Where are your parents?" he asked gently. Silence filled the room. A boy near the back finally spoke, his voice barely audible. "Gone, some sold. Some taken. Some sick," another child said. "The guards bring us here. We fix things. They sell them. They give us food sometimes. Only when we finish enough work." The first girl tugged on Aaron's sleeve. "They say we owe them. For everything." Aaron felt anger burn inside him. These children had been forced to work like machines, treated like objects instead of living beings. And the market guards had built an entire hidden system around their suffering. "How long has this been happening?" Aaron asked. "A long time," a small girl replied. "Before I could talk." Aaron walked deeper into the room, examining the tools and broken machines. The work was complicated, too complicated for children. But they still tried. Their fingers were covered in tiny cuts. Their clothes were covered in oil. Their faces were covered in exhaustion. He turned back to them. "Why doesn't anyone stop this?" The boy answered, The guards pay people to be quiet. And many don't care about us. We are small. We are aliens. They think we don't matter. Aaron clenched his fists. Then he felt a gentle tug at his hand. The first girl looked up at him. No one has come here before. No one wanted to see. He knelt to her level. I see you now. Her eyes softened. Will you leave? Aaron took a deep breath. He knew this was dangerous. He knew interfering with alien authorities could cause trouble. But as he looked around at the tired faces, the small hands, the quiet breaths, he knew he couldn't walk away. No, he said firmly. I won't leave you. The children watched him with wide eyes. They didn't smile. They didn't cheer. But something changed in the air. Something small. Something warm. For the first time, the hidden workshop didn't feel completely cold. For the first time someone cared. Aaron looked at the rusted door, already knowing the guards wouldn't let this go. He knew danger was coming. But he also knew something more important. He wasn't alone anymore. He had 20 small reasons to fight back. Night settled over the market slowly, like a heavy curtain falling from the sky. Lanterns flickered weakly, shadows stretched long across the metal paths, and the busy noise of the day faded into a low, distant hum. Most stalls were closed now, and only a few workers moved around, packing their things or heading home. But Aaron and the children did not move. They stayed hidden inside the old workshop, where the broken machines around them whispered stories of years of suffering. The children sat close together, too tired to talk, too scared to sleep. The little girl, the one who had led Aaron here, sat right beside him, clutching her broken toy even tighter now. Aaron kept checking the rusty door. Every sound from outside made him tense. He knew the guards would return. He knew they would not let a human interfere this much. But he also knew something more important. Leaving these kids alone was not an option anymore. The girl tugged at his sleeve. They will come soon, she whispered. They don't like when someone looks inside. I know, Aaron said softly. But I won't let them hurt you. She didn't answer. She simply leaned a little closer to him, something she had never dared to do with anyone else. Minutes passed like hours. Then came the sound Aaron had been expecting. Heavy boots. Slow steps. Two shadows blocked the small light under the door. The children froze. The little girl's breath caught in her throat. The door crashed open. The same two guards stepped inside, their armor reflecting the workshop's dim lights. Their faces were colder than before, filled with anger and something worse, confidence. They believed no one could stop them. One guard pointed at Aaron. Human, you have gone too far. The children backed away. The little girl grabbed Aaron's arm with trembling fingers. Aaron stood slowly, placing himself in front of the children. They are kids. Let them go. The guard laughed a low, sharp sound. They are workers. Property of the market unit. They do not get to go anywhere. Aaron clenched his fists. You're using them. Starving them. Hurting them. Yes, the guard replied proudly. Because no one cares. No one stops us. He took a step forward. Move aside. Aaron didn't move. No. The guard swung his arm, aiming a hard punch at Aaron's face. Aaron blocked it and pushed back, sending the guard stumbling slightly. The children gasped. They had never seen anyone resist. The second guard charged in, trying to grab the little girl directly. Aaron twisted, grabbed the man's arm, and pulled him away from her, slamming him into a stack of crates. The crates collapsed loudly, scattering metal parts across the floor. The workshop filled with chaos, clattering metal, shouting, footsteps, and frightened breaths. The first guard regained his balance and punched Aaron in the stomach. Aaron took the hit but didn't fall. He stepped forward, grabbed the guard by the shoulder, and drove him back with force. The second guard tried again, pulling out an electric baton. The blue light flashed dangerously. He swung it toward Aaron's side. The baton grazed him, sending a painful shock through his ribs. But Aaron stayed standing. The children watched with wide, terrified eyes. Some covered their ears. Some cried silently, but the little girl didn't run. She did something no one expected. She stepped forward. Holding her broken toy tightly, she hit the guard's leg with all her strength. The toy cracked even more, a piece falling to the floor. But she didn't stop. She hit him again and again, shaking with fear but refusing to let him hurt the human who protected her. The guard stumbled back, shocked that a tiny, weak child dared to fight him. Aaron used that moment. He kicked the baton out of the guard's hand and pushed him against the wall. Both guards were down injured, angry and humiliated. Breathing hard, Aaron stepped back toward the children. "Run," he whispered. "Go to the back exit." But before they could move, the guard shouted, "This is not over. You broke the law, human. You will pay." They crawled out of the workshop, limping, shouting into their radios. Aaron knew what would happen next. More guards. More danger. A full search. The little girl pressed her broken toy against her chest. "I broke it," she whispered. "I'm sorry." Aaron knelt beside her and cupped her cheek gently. "You protected me. That toy saved us." Her eyes filled with tears. Outside, the market lights flickered again. Silence spread. People sensed something had happened. Something big. And in the middle of that silent night, inside a forgotten workshop full of lost children, Aaron made a promise to himself. He would not leave them. He would not let fear win. Whatever came next, he was ready. The night felt colder than before. The wind outside carried the sound of distant alarms, and the lights across the market flickered unevenly. Something huge was coming. Aaron knew it. The children knew it too. Every small face inside the hidden workshop looked toward the broken door, waiting for the next danger to arrive. But something unexpected happened first. A small boy walked to Aaron, then another, and another. Soon all 20 children gathered around him, forming a quiet, fragile circle. Their eyes were full of fear, yet they still stood there, close, protective, and determined in a way Aaron had never seen before. The little girl stood right in front of him, gripping her broken toy with both hands. "They will bring more guards," she whispered. "They will hurt you. They will take us away." Aaron shook his head. "Not tonight. I won't let them." "You can't fight all of them," the boy said. "Then I won't fight alone," Aaron replied. The children exchanged confused looks. They were not warriors. They had no weapons. They had only broken tools and pieces of metal they used for fixing things. But something inside them shifted, a memory of how Aaron stood between them and the guards, how he took the blows so they wouldn't have to. The little girl walked to the center of the room and raised her toy. "We help him," she said softly. No one argued. Aaron felt something heavy in his chest, not sadness, not fear, but pride. These children, who had been treated like shadows, were stepping into the light for him. But soon, the distant noise grew louder. Boots, radios, metal armor clinking. A whole patrol. Aaron moved the children behind old crates and machines. He whispered instructions to them, how to stay quiet, how to stay low, how to escape through the back if things got too dangerous. They listened carefully. Their lives depended on it. Then the door shook, hard. A deep voice echoed from outside. "Open up. Market security. All unauthorized persons inside must come out." The children froze again. Aaron stood tall and stepped toward the door. But before he could reach it, many small hands held onto his shirt, pulling him gently, silently begging him not to go alone. He looked back at them. "It's okay," he whispered. "I just need them to listen." And then he opened the door. A blast of cold air hit him. Outside, nearly a dozen armored guards surrounded the building, their weapons drawn, lights pointed in his eyes. Crowds of market people stood far away, watching from a safe distance, whispering among themselves. The leading guard stepped forward. "Human traveler, you assaulted officers, interfered with regulated workers, and entered a restricted zone. Surrender now." Aaron didn't move. "They're children," he said loudly. "Look inside. Look at what you've done to them. That is none of your concern," the guard responded. "Step aside." Aaron spread his arms slightly, blocking the entrance. "No." A murmur rose from the crowd. People whispered, "A human is protecting alien kids? Why would he do that? Is he crazy?" No one stands up to the guards. The tension grew thicker than smoke. The guard commanded, "Move, last warning." Aaron felt his heartbeat slow. He had no plan, no weapon, no backup. But he had something stronger: truth. He took a deep breath. "These children are starving," he said. "They're being used. They're not workers, they're victims." Some market people stepped closer, curious, unsure. They wanted to know. They wanted to see for themselves. The guard raised his weapon. "Enough. Take him." Before they could move, a tiny sound echoed from behind Aaron. A footstep. Small. Quiet. Then another. Then another. One by one, the alien children stepped out of the workshop. Not hiding, not running. Standing behind Aaron like a small army of fragile, brave souls. Some held broken tools. Others held scraps of metal. A few clutched their toys. They stood close to him, close enough that their small bodies touched his legs and arms. The crowd gasped. The guards froze. The little girl stepped forward, holding her broken toy like a shield. "He protected us," she said. Her voice was small, but in the silent market, it echoed like thunder. "He gave us food. He helped us. We want to stay with him." Another child said, "Please don't hurt him." Another whispered, "He saved us." The guards shifted uneasily. They weren't afraid of Aaron. They were afraid of the scene. Afraid of how many people were watching. Afraid of the truth being exposed. Then something even more surprising happened. Market workers stepped closer, a group of traders, a vendor, a few mothers, and even a few elderly aliens. They looked at the children not as workers, but as lives. Someone whispered loudly, "This is wrong." Another shouted, "Let the kids go." A third voice thundered, "We're not blind anymore." The guards turned, suddenly nervous. Aaron didn't smile, but his eyes softened. For the first time, the children were not alone. The people were rising with them. The truth was rising with them. And the guards? For the first time, they were the ones afraid. The guards stood frozen, their weapons lowered halfway, unsure what to do next. The sight in front of them was something they had never expected: 20 small alien children standing with a human. Refusing to move, refusing to hide, refusing to go back to the shadows where they had been kept their whole lives. The market crowd grew larger. More people arrived, drawn by the voices, drawn by the truth that could not be hidden anymore. Some held their bags close, some whispered, some simply stared. But no one looked away. The little girl holding her broken toy stepped forward again. Her hands trembled, but her voice did not. "We don't want to go with them," she said. "We want to be free." A quiet gasp moved through the crowd. Aaron stood beside her, tired, bruised, but unshaken. He placed a steady hand on her shoulder, showing he was still there, still ready to protect them, even if things became worse. The head guard tried to regain control. "These children are government property," he shouted angrily. "Anyone interfering will be punished. Move aside or face arrest." But people did not step back. One alien mother spoke from the crowd. "Property? They're children," a vendor added. "They starved them. We all knew it." We all stayed quiet. A shopkeeper pointed at the guards. "No more." Voices rose, not loud, not violent, but strong. The kind of strength that comes when people finally understand they have been silent for too long. The guards grew uneasy. Their authority was slipping. Their confidence was breaking. And then something happened that truly destroyed their control. An older alien man pushed through the crowd and raised a small recording device. "I filmed everything," he said. "The children, the workshop, the guards attacking the human. This will go to the elders, to the council, to every planet if I have to." The guards stiffened. One of them whispered nervously, "Shut it down. Shut it all down." "If this spreads, it already has," the older man said. The children stayed close behind Aaron. The little girl still held her toy, but now she held it differently, like it was a piece of her mother she refused to lose again. The head guard took a shaky breath. "Enough, we're leaving." "And the children?" Aaron asked sharply. The guard hesitated. "They will stay. But this is not finished." "Oh, it is," a deep voice replied. Everyone turned. Two council officers walked into the market, high-ranking, respected, wearing silver robes instead of armor. They had been called by the crowd's alerts. Their expressions were hard, cold, angry, not at Aaron or the children, but at the guards who had caused this. The head officer stepped forward. "These children are no longer under market unit control," she declared. "They will be taken into protection immediately." The children gasped. Some cried quietly. Some hugged each other. Freedom was a word they had never truly felt before. The council officer looked at the guards. "You are all suspended and under investigation." The guards tried to protest, but soldiers arrived behind the officers, forcing them to lower their weapons. They were escorted away as the crowd parted around them. Silence filled the market again. But the silence was different. Softer, warmer. The council officer turned to the children. "You will be safe now. We will find homes for each of you. You have suffered enough." The little girl looked at Aaron. Her eyes were wide, full of fear and hope mixed together. "Will they take me away from you?" she whispered. Aaron knelt beside her. "Do you want to stay with me?" She nodded so fast that her tears shook. "Yes, please." One officer stepped forward gently. "Humans can adopt alien children with proper paperwork," she said. "If both sides want it." Aaron smiled softly. "Then I want to adopt her." The little girl threw her arms around him, holding him as tightly as she could, as if she feared he might disappear as she blinked. Her broken toy, still cracked and bent, pressed against his chest. The officer smiled. "Then she is yours. And you are hers." The other children gathered around them. Some hugged Aaron. Some touched the toy in the girl's hand as if it were a symbol of something important, something magical. And it was. It was the last thing she had from her mother. It was the first thing Aaron ever bought for her. It was the reason he noticed her at all. It was the thing she used to protect him. It was the broken toy that saved them all. Aaron stood, carrying the girl in his arms. The children were taken to safety. The crowd slowly returned to their homes, whispering about the human who stood up for those no one else saw. As Aaron walked through the quiet market, the little girl rested her head on his shoulder. "You're safe now," he whispered. She held her toy closer. "We both are." And for the first time in her life, she truly believed it.